Hey guys, welcome back to Reserved Investments on YouTube, and thank you for joining me. This is probably going to be a controversial video for some of you. I'm just going to touch the surface on this, then we're going to take a deep dive into this concept in another video that I have planned. So I'm not going to go all the way with this. I just want to correct a lot of you out there who keep using the term scalper as it applies to collectibles. More importantly, mass-produced modern era collectibles. For those unaware, the term scalper or scalping came into existence literally in the 19th century. For those unaware, we're already in the 21st century. The definition of scalping is nothing more than someone who resells tickets at an unauthorized price for a profit. Believe it or not, the most earliest case of scalping pretty much referred to brokers who sold unused portions of railway tickets. Railways charged less per mile for longer distance tickets. Therefore, someone traveling from New York to Chicago could buy a ticket all the way to San Francisco, get out at Chicago, and sell it to a scalper and come away with more money than if he or she had simply bought a ticket to Chicago. The Chicago scalper would hold the ticket till he found someone looking for a ticket to San Francisco, then sell it to him at a slight premium, but for less than the official price. The amount of difference that he would profit, that would be his potential reward. Now, this is very important because there's a lot of people that do not understand this core concept. And we are going to take a deep dive on this. I'm going to give you a prime example as to why when you talk about somebody who is reselling or flipping modern era collectibles or limited edition collectibles for a profit, why he should not be called a scalper. If we look at this particular scenario that I'm going to lay out in front of you right now, let's say that you are somebody that wants to go to a concert. Your favorite band is coming to, I'm going to use my example, Philadelphia, and I want to get tickets to see that particular band. And I log on to Ticketmaster. This particular band is going to be at the Mann Center on such and such a date. I'm ready to buy. Tickets become available. It's first come, first serve, and there's 50,000 tickets available to correspond with 50,000 seats in that particular arena. And I go and I try to buy my ticket, and I can't get a ticket. They all sold out. Now, when we look at that particular scenario, is anybody in their right mind gonna blame the band because they couldn't get a ticket to their sold out show? Number one, no, it's not their fault. Number two, is anybody in that scenario gonna blame Ticketmaster because they logged on, they tried to get a ticket, it was first come, first serve, and they couldn't get a ticket quick enough? In all actuality, in most cases, now we can look at what restrictions Ticketmaster had in place, but in all reality, in most cases, no one's going to blame Ticketmaster. If they did first come, first serve, it sold out within 20 minutes, you didn't get a ticket. As a result, someone else did. If everything was pretty much done to the T, it's really not Ticketmaster's fault either. Now, if we look at the venue where that particular concert or show is going to be held at, in this case, the Mann Center. Let's say that there's seating for, I'm just pulling that out of my proverbial ass, 50,000 people at that particular concert venue. Is it the Mann Center's fault that they had 50,000 seats available, they had 50,000 tickets available, and all those tickets sold out? Well, it's not the Mann Center's fault. They did all they could. They said, you know what? We have a stadium or we have an arena that holds 50,000 people. We obviously can only offer 50,000 tickets as a result. Now, you can argue if they had an arena that seats 50,000 and they only offered 20,000 tickets and they all sold out, you could say, well, there's a discrepancy here because there's 30,000 other seats that you didn't bother selling tickets for. So now if I have to go to the secondary market and I have to pay a premium to get these tickets, it's kind of unfair because you had the resources to provide another 30,000 seats and you did not do that. So what does this have to do with collectibles? Well, going back to the scenario again with the arena, 50,000 seats, 50,000 tickets, first come, first served basis, it's sold out. There is nothing that no party in that particular equation could do anything about. They sold every ticket for each corresponding seat that they had available. So if little Timmy wants to go to that concert venue and he couldn't get a ticket, he now has to pay a premium on the secondary market to go to that concert and hope that one of those people that were able to get a ticket wants to sell it to him for a premium. Because let's be realistic. If somebody paid $50 for that particular show and it's sold out, and little Timmy comes along and says, I really want a ticket to go to that show, and this person over here says, you know what, I paid $50 for my ticket, I'm not going to go, but I don't want to just give my ticket away for $50. That particular individual, given the fact that that show is sold out, he has a right to profit from that. Because again, there's nothing that the Man Center can do to create more seats. Meaning there's nothing they could have did to increase the capacity in that stadium. Okay? Now, what does this have to do when we look at the antiques and collectibles trade? Well, let me use this as a scenario. Timmy, Tommy, and Jimmy all want the limited edition Pokemon Nintendo Switch Lite that just came out. And ironically, I'm shooting this video at a great time because I do know there is a new, I forget the character or theme that it is, but there is a brand new Nintendo Switch Lite that just hit the market that is in limited supply, and it's based on Pokemon. So this is a great example to use. So they head down to the local GameStop. The local GameStop is just opening, and the person comes to the counter and says, I'm sorry, how many of these do you want? We only have a few left. And Timmy, Tommy, and Jimmy all say, we each want one of the new limited edition Pokemon Nintendo Switch units. Well, the cashier looks behind the counter and says, I'm sorry, we only have two. We only have two of these new systems. So that means Timmy, Jimmy, or Tommy, one of those particular individuals is going to go without. That's for certain, at least at this particular GameStop that we're talking about in question. So let's look at that scenario and let's see why, if one of those individuals has to go to the secondary market and pay a premium for that, you cannot call the person who's selling it a scalper. You ready for me to walk you through this? Okay, here is the primary difference between scalping tickets versus scalping collectibles. Let me walk you through this. Is it GameStop's fault that they do not have enough of those limited edition Pokemon Nintendo Switch Lite systems to satisfy Timmy, Jimmy, and Tommy? Or if you guys prefer, Timmy, Kimmy, and Poindexter. However we want to go about this. I'm trying to be nice. I'm using Timmy, Tommy, and Jimmy. It is not GameStop's fault. Is it Nintendo's fault that indirectly or directly that GameStop does not have enough Nintendo Switch Lite Pokemon Edition systems to satisfy demand? The answer is 100% yes. This is what all the people out there that get butthurt about reselling, about quote-unquote scalping, a lot of these mass-produced collectibles don't seem to understand, guys. Rather than put the blame where it belongs, these people, the way that their minds work, well, that particular person over there, he has 4, 5, or 20 of them. Therefore, because I couldn't get any, he took my share. Meaning I was willing to go to GameStop, I was willing to go to Target, I was willing to go to Walmart or wherever you buy your video game systems. I was willing to plunk down the $200 for that limited edition Pokemon Nintendo Switch Lite system. But they didn't have any in stock because that guy over there has 20 of them. This is fundamentally flawed logic, and here's why. At any given time, Nintendo, the manufacturer of that system, could simply turn on the production run and make more of those systems, and this would not be an issue. In fact, if you study the antiques and collectibles trade, if you listen to one particular expert that I brought up on this channel before, Harry Rinker, back in the 1990s, when the Beanie Baby bubble was exploding and people were paying a fortune for these Beanie Babies, One of the things that Harry Rinker said was, at any given time, Ty, the company that makes Beanie Babies, if they wanted this to end, they could simply put more Beanie Babies into production and pretty much quench or quell the demand on the secondary market, and the Beanie Baby bubble would have never happened. Meaning in the 1990s, the Beanie Baby bubble was pretty much manufactured by the company in question. In the year 2021, what a lot of you don't realize, you're still playing this same game, only now it's not Beanie Babies. Now it's limited edition Nintendo Switch consoles, or it's Nintendo Amiibo, or it's Funko Pops, or it's the latest limited edition Pokemon set, or whatever mass-produced collectible or commodity it is. You can even expand this to include certain limited run games where you have to log on at either 10 a.m. or 6 p.m. or you missed the print run, and now you're forced, if you want that game, you want to put it in your collection, you got to wait till it hits eBay and you have to pay a premium price to get it. Well, guess what, guys? You're blaming the wrong people. If Nintendo would start coming to the market with enough supply to equal demand, the resellers, or as you call them, scalpers, would not be able to exist. As a result, anybody that would get burned on a subsequent amount of these limited edition products, after enough time, they would pull away from the market and they would say, wow, I tried playing the secondary market to my advantage by reselling a lot of this stuff, and it didn't work. Nintendo or Funko Pop or whatever company we're talking about, they just upped the print run to meet demand. The question that you need to ask is, why are companies like this limiting product to begin with? And that's a question we're going to answer in an upcoming video. I know the answer. Do you know why? And also, why do you blame the reseller? If you know the answer to that question, you shouldn't be blaming the reseller. It makes no sense. So we're going to explore that in another video. I just wanted to give this unique perspective because this is something that's missing from a lot of the people that come out of the woodwork with their pitchforks drawn and their torches, and they're ready to go after some of these resellers. Now, there is one caveat here. I do think it is completely ridiculous when you hear reports that people are using bots. People are using other ways to cheat the system where they're getting like 100 PlayStation 5 units. They're putting them in storage and they're selling them for like $1,000 a piece because right now that particular item is extremely scarce on the overall market as a whole. I do think that that is horrible. Yes, there should be steps to try to eliminate that process because let's be realistic. I don't think Sony is intentionally, how do I want to say this, is intentionally stopping PlayStation 5s from being produced and sold. It is what it is due to global supply shortages. But I do think that certain steps can be taken to eliminate resellers of that caliber. And again, even me, when I flip a lot of this stuff, I'm buying 2, 3, or 4 copies of this stuff. I am not buying a truckload, guys. So you need to kind of understand that. But I hope this perspective, I hope this talking point at least gives you something to think about because in my opinion, it is not the fault of the reseller. It is the fault of the manufacturer who is playing in to the hopes and dreams of the average Timmy who wants so much to believe that a lot of this stuff is rare, valuable, and going to go up in value. And what happens when you over-identify or when you overvalue an item? You covet it more. You want it more. You crave it more. You're willing to pay more for it. And that is marketing in a nutshell, guys. Till next time, have a good night.